Hello, everybody. Dave Neal here, stand-up comic, host of Bachelor in Paradise, a guy's review. We are celebrating week 2 of the season. Night 1, this is my night 1 recap. I'll have a recap up for night 2 as well. I've having some issues going on with my computer, so I'm actually using my fiance's computer here. My computer won't turn on. We've been making so much content, I think we drove it into the ground, so I don't have all my flashy different monitors and things like that. So all I've got is the old school book. I got the book. I take notes. I read them back to you. Old school Dave right here. If you followed me back in the day, you'll know this is how we used to do it before all the fancy monitors. Thank you guys so much for 40,000 subscribers. We hit it over the weekend. You guys are amazing. I got a ton of other content coming up today. Victoria Larson calling Tajuan aggressive. That's a whole video. Dale and Claire rumored to be wed. That's a video. And if anyone wants to see me live this Friday in Hollywood, I have a stand-up comedy show. If you're like, oh man, I can't make it Friday, but Saturday late night at 10 o'clock, I'd love to come. Well, guess what? I've got a Saturday night show in Santa Monica. If you want to come laugh, Santa Monica, just let me know. DM me on Instagram at dneals and let me know what show you want to come to. All right, let's get right into it. I take notes. I read them back to you. No edits, no cuts, just me, you, and the notes. All right, so many couples to start this episode. It feels like week 22, right? Doesn't it feel like band camp when everyone's just, latched together in a massage circle? Speaking from experience, that's how it works. I didn't have sex ed. I had band camp. All right, folks. Demi, I was a saxophonist. We were pretty desirable in the band hierarchy. Leave a comment. What instrument did you play? Percussion. Boy, take a bath once in a while. All right. Demi arrives and says, David Spade looks amazing. Boy, bring out the lie detector. I know they got the lie detector. Bring it out. Let's go. Demi's full of, what. David Spade is the female version of, they are very similar in their moods and blonde hair. Spade asks if she's there to date women or men. Demi's like, I'm here for dudes. She gets a date card. She got the bikini strings all the way up to the ribs. Did you see that? Is that a new style? I feel like Christina Aguilera, that's what she did when she first came out of the genie in a bottle. She's a genie in a bottle. She comes out. It's like, you're not a genie in a bottle. You're just wearing very large bikini straps, which I'm all for. I love to see. Nothing makes the boys go wild like a little bikini strap going up the hip bone. Absolutely. And it makes your curves look better, right, ladies? You got to know how to flaunt the curves. I know someone, the patriarchy thinks we need to flaunt our curves. Hey, look, if you don't want to put your bikini straps up to your shoulder blades, by all means, do you, whatever. Demi tries to kiss Brendan. Okay, so she starts interviewing every guy. She's like, Connor, come on down. You're the next contestant on Demi's show. And then she brings Kenny. And then she's clearly just, ruffling feathers. That producer driven. I'm sure they wanted her to do this. Then she brings Brendan down. And then she tries to kiss him. And he grabs her face and gives her the cheek. Brendan's got boundaries. She gives him a date card anyway. And then Natasha's bummed that Demi stole Brendan. It's a whole thing. They go out on the jet skis. Try not to have fun on a jet ski. I dare you. Jet skis are amazing. They have a makeout session afterwards. They're making out. Then Brendan immediately pushes her away after the kiss. And he goes, so we're going to see other people still, right? Now, listen. I know. I'd love to know what you guys think about this. Leave a comment. Whose side are you on, Demi's or Brendan's? But it was a little ridiculous, her reaction. The whole episode is going to be her reaction, what she thought about it all. He was just setting healthy boundaries. He was like, look, I know you chose me on this date. It's not like he chose her on the date. She pursued him. He said yes to the date. They played a little tonsil hockey. They did a little lip kissing, They punched each other's tongues a little bit, punching in on the time clock there, Bachelor in Paradise style. No big deal, right? Oh boy, that's going to piss her off. All right, we're going to jump all around here because that's what the episode does. Mari tells Victoria she thinks Brendan is holding out for Piper, so that we introduce the whole Piper storyline. Piper, the most talked about person that's not even there. Natasha asks, why are you here if you're in a relationship? Demi tells Brendan, I'm the cream of the crop. I'm pissed the F off. This never happens to me, except for Colton, which is a hilarious aside to Colton Underwood coming out of the closet after, being on the show as a sort of a closeted gay man. She goes, no one does this to me. I'm the cream of the crop. And it's like, listen, let me tell you something. Brendan's the cream of the crop. Have you looked into his eyes? You know what I mean? He is the, captain now. Brendan, this is what you get for communicating clear expectations. Demi's pissed she got rejected. Ladies, I know it sucks to get rejected. Trust me, I've been practicing rejection for the last 30 years of my life. I understand. I've been getting rejected by ladies since I was 5 years old. At my own first birthday, when I tried to give someone a hot dog with mustard on it, and she goes, I don't want the hot dog. Well, listen, Lauren, that's all we had, okay? I didn't know you were vegan. I would have tried to prepare a different entree. I was trying my best. I was 5. It was 1990, okay? But I dealt with it. I learned a little bit of, now I always have sausages available if someone doesn't want a hot dog. I don't know, folks. The point is you learn how to deal with rejection by being rejected. So Demi, be the cream of the crop, but, grow a little, from this experience of being rejected and be better from it, or complain all episode. So we have Victoria and James. They're looking very sexy together. I was immediately intrigued by this combo because she's like sexy in her own way, and he's just like this beefy, juicy. You just want to like touch this marbled man. He's just a chunk at it. Like he looks like an ice carving, right? That won't melt in your hands unless you want him to. Both beautiful. What am I even saying? Both beautiful humans. Ivan and Jasenia, they're on a date. They're beautiful humans together. Jasenia appreciates the conversation that Ivan had with Tayshia about race, which is nice because Tayshia didn't do too much talking, right? Ivan was kind of the one that kind of dictated the convo, and Tayshia's like, I love you. I'm going to take you to an Airstream, and then I'm going to dump you, which very, very well. He had no chance compared to Zach. Zach was the guy. What can you do? But Ivan and Jasenia sound perfect on paper. Ivan said he got zero racist blowback whereas women get a lot of it. And, I don't know what it's like to be in someone else's shoes, especially of a different skin color, especially of a different gender. But it is interesting that Ivan was able to pinpoint that he talked about race and didn't get any blowback. And then Jasenia and others have talked about race, and they've been labeled in so many different horrible ways. And it makes you wonder, is it a gender thing? I'm sure, of course it is, but it's also like, is it a certain segment of women of the Bachelor fan base that don't want to hear other people that have stories different than them? One of the biggest problems, as I've said over and over, is the lack of empathy we have. So if you're like a white lady or man and you're complaining that someone's talking about race as a female person of color, it's like you don't know what they've dealt with. We live with different worlds, right, guys? It sounds like common sense, but some people, they're so closed-minded they can only see the world through their own eyes. They have a pool makeout session, which was amazing. They also had the underwater camera. Give it up to Bachelor in Paradise. Episode 2, having the underwater camera ready. Nothing crazy happened, but if it did, they were going to catch it on camera, and then they were going to blur it out. I bet you. There's so much footage they share around each other that they can't air. That's just like sexy footage. I can't even imagine. Send it over. I'll pay for it. OnlyFans. Call in with your thoughts on Demi versus Brendan. Let me know. 401-213-9828. I always put the number up here. You can call in your thoughts. I do extra voicemail videos where I just play your voicemails. 401-213-9828. I'll leave it on the screen for a minute. You guys can call in. Because it is interesting, and I wonder what a lot of women think about this. If Brendan was unreasonable in his request to just be dating other people, she essentially was like, look, it's not like I wanted to be official or anything, but it's like, well, at the same time, I think he was just trying to set the standard like, hey, and again, he obviously, if he is canoodling with Piper, might have his own motivations there. We really can't know. Demi tells Brendan, you're teasing me. Brendan says to Natasha, did she set my soul on fire? No. Hilarious. Because Natasha's like, did you like Dem? He's like, his answer was, did she set my soul on fire? No. I'd love it. I love it. My fiance's like, hey, did you like the chili I made? And it's like, did it set my soul on fire? No, but it was fine. It got me through the day. I was hungry. So anyway, Demi continues to ruminate in anger. She goes, it's rude. Then Marissa tells Connor that clearly I like you. We just bounce back and forth. Connor and Marissa just seems like a very odd pairing, but I'm all for it. Then he takes her elastic waistband and pulls it to him. Do you guys notice that? They do that hot ocean kiss. Their feet are in the water. Jellyfish are stinging them, and they're just making out. I loved that move he did where it was like yoink, and he just pulled her. Those beach pants, the elastics are super like loose. It's like very much like pajama style. And he's like, she goes, I'm kind of like you. And he's like, here we go. Just kind of pulls her in with consent. We move on to Tammy. Tammy says that Victoria Paul is using James and has a boyfriend back home. And then, of course, the whole episode, Victoria Paul can't remember James's name. It's like James and the giant, peach, giant other things too, if you ask me. Testosterone dumping. He's got a good testosterone load. if you ask me. I don't know if he's on any performance-enhancing drugs, but the guy, if I saw him at the gym, I would be staring at him being like, show me how to work that trap. Serena C goes hard for Aaron, but he's been with Tammy. So we have a little bit of the desperation that happens on the rose ceremony. Like everyone's playing it cool until the rose ceremony hits. And then they're like, all right, we need to stick around. It's wild. Imagine if you're on vacation in paradise and the only way you can stick around is if you break up another couple. Like that's kind of weird. Goddess Victoria, she starts hitting on Brendan. He tells her that her aura is overpowering. Brendan just, I know he didn't say that to her face, but I think he's just not used to like how certain words come off. Cause he's like, Demi, we're not going to date, right? And like, he didn't realize he was pissing her off. And he's like, Victoria, the goddess, her aura is just overpowering. And he's like trying to say it nicely. Never tell a woman her aura is overpowering. If a lady asks you, you tell her her aura is just right. Be like, listen, you got to lie to them. You know, you saw how it ended up with Demi. Just tell a fib. Oh, your aura? No, perfect aura. It's not too warm. It's not too cold. Your aura's not too big. It's not too small. You've got the Goldilocks of auras. I mean, that aura really just fits you so perfectly. So Victoria tries to steal Trey then, and then Taj says she's getting a Tajnado, which is a tornado made out of Taj. And that came in to call out Victoria Larson. And of course, she was like, what are you doing, my guy? I know what you're doing. It's a rose ceremony. You're trying to steal him to get a rose, but he's mine. We're making out. We're doing it. Victoria says, how can I... This is where it pops off for Victoria. She says to Taj, after trying to, talk to Trey, clearly she told Trey, hey, Trey, if you're not really with her, if you don't like her anymore, come into my DMs. They're wide open. I'm Miss Publix 2020. I'm kind of a big deal. What do you need? That's Publix with an X. Rated X, rated Publix. I'll steal your heart and, whatever else. She stole something. Whatever. What can you do? She's a thief. All right. She's stealing my time is what she's doing. All right. She's stealing my bandwidth. Victoria says, how can I help you resolve your emotions? That is not conflict resolution. Can you imagine if my fiance is mad at me? She's mad at me. You ever have your fiance, your significant other, just breathing heavy in the other room, and you did something wrong? Can you imagine if I walked up to her and I go, "Hey, how may I help you resolve your emotions?" She's gonna be like, "Resolve yourself on the couch tonight." Victoria Larson calls Taj aggressive, nuts, and crazy. It's like, Victoria, are you projecting much? Those are literally the terms, that we would use to describe you. Which it's like, listen, I asked this in the chat. We're going to make a whole video about this. But the weight behind Victoria calling Tajwan aggressive, we'll get into that. Leave a voicemail, 401-213-9828, and let me know if you want to talk about that, because that will be one of the later videos we make today. We'll be discussing the ramifications of a relatively privileged white lady calling a black lady aggressive when very much she wasn't. She was sitting there. Victoria Larson's the one who had to walk away and cry. So it was very interesting that she resorted to calling someone else crazy and aggressive, especially given the sort of maybe microaggression of it all. We'll talk more about that, but leave a comment in the voicemails if you want, or in the comment section here. Let me know what you think about that. I'm not trying to create any scenarios that don't exist. This is from people I've talked to already, this is just not what you want to do. You don't want to, like Rachel Lindsay said, Chris Harrison, was saying to her, you seem very angry up there. Let's not, we got to be very delicate with these conversations. Tammy tells James that Victoria Paul is a manipulative and has a boyfriend back home. So he's starting to find out that Victoria P has a boyfriend back home. Victoria and her boyfriend share a dog together. Listen, that's if someone's like, maybe you're seeing someone, they share a dog together. Dogs are, if you don't have kids, the closest bond you can have is a dog. You know what I mean? That, or if you own a vehicle together or something, that, or you share a STD. The point is, if you have something that bonds you, like a virus or a dog, that's, we both have COVID. We're in the bubble together. Don't pop it. So then he goes, I was kissing her on a beach bed. He goes, I was kissing her on a beach bed. Tammy says, you don't mean anything to her, which it's kind of mean, but it's true. And I don't think Tammy was trying to get with James. It's always nice when the person's not trying to get with you, right? Maybe she was. I don't think so. James calls Victoria P out for not even knowing his name. She tells him to relax. She's like, Steve, relax. What are you doing? When clearly she tells James to relax, and clearly he was calm. Can we stop telling people to relax when they're anything but, you know what I mean? It's like, ugh. Victoria claims she broke up with her boyfriend. So she said that. So we'll see that she's lying. Then if Tammy is 100% on this, which I believe she is, good for her. She saves James a lot of times. And also now he doesn't look stupid on TV. So anyway, yeah, Victoria keeps forgetting his name. Victoria Paul tries to use her. She goes, I'm going to use my therapy techniques. She's talking to Kelsey and Tammy. She goes, let's just use our therapy techniques. And I'm thinking, like, how soon before this blows up in her face, her therapy techniques? She immediately gets called out. And then so she starts walking away and she goes, I'm just going to set a healthy boundary. And Kelsey's like, no, like you accused me of doing stuff and then you're not even letting me talk and now you're going to go find healthy boundaries. So anyway, Tammy nails it. Tammy says manipulative people take the victim route. And it's so true. Victoria Paul sort of admits to having a boyfriend all along. On her like loser cruiser ride home, she goes, I don't have to search for what I already have at home. So it's like, so you did have something at home. So it's almost like she knew she was being called out. There's nothing more reactive than calling somebody out and watching them not admit to it. And they kind of they get angry and they try to parlay that energy into like you being the wrong person. And it's like, luckily this is all on camera. So everyone's like, yeah, you realize she's the one who's like, this is her problem, not mine. If Tammy and Kelsey were guilty of anything, it was not calling Victoria out to her face and getting, Jason, whatever it is, James, getting him involved. Maybe he's a hard name to remember. He's a guy he's a dick in a box guy. Victoria goes home looking bad. Wells conducts the first rose ceremony, which is interesting. Wells conducts the first rose ceremony. Ivan chose Yesenia. Noah chose Abigail. Joe chose Serena. Connor chose Marissa. Trey chose Tajwan. Carl chose Deandra. Brendan, Natasha, Aaron, Tammy, Kenny, Mari, James, Demi. Now, Demi was a surprise one. Kelsey goes home. Victoria Larson goes home. Serena C goes home. And Victoria Paul already went home. So that's where they're at. Of course, it wouldn't be a rose ceremony without somebody feigning illness. Kelsey had a moment of panic anxiety. They needed to cool her down. Instead of putting water in her face, they should just cool her down with putting some cold champagne on her face. I don't know. What do you guys think? Let me know. Leave a comment. Of course, Bachelor in Paradise, it's so people have asked me, they go, Dave, could you please put some graphics up so we know what you're talking about? And it's like, look, no, we are just throwing things into the pot and making some soup with this stuff. Right now, if you don't know who Kenny and Mari is, like, what are you even doing watching my channel, right? So just get with it. Get your side tabs open and start Googling the headshots of the cast and putting me up next to them and all that. For everyone else that's out there breastfeeding and doing the dishes, thank you guys so much for letting me be a part of your family. Your poor child is going to grow up in his formative years hearing me rant about the injustices of Bachelor Nation. Hopefully the show's around long enough to help put them through school along with me. Yeah, because I know Daddy still needs the revenue train to come in. All right, folks. Well, that's it for this video. Like I said, I got a ton of other stuff coming up. Again, I am slammed right now because we just got back. I mentioned this on the live stream, but we just flew back from Michigan. Our flights were canceled and rescheduled, so we've been on the road nonstop. So if I look like my eyes are bleeding dry, that's because, and my voice too. Oh my gosh, I'm dying. Doing this for you guys. Thank you so much for 40,000 subscribers. I appreciate you guys so much. Our next benchmark is passing Nick Vial. He's at 47,000. So if you watch this video and you're a fan of ours, it's a friendly passing. He's a good guy. No animosity there whatsoever, but it will be nice to pass Nick Vial at 47,000 subscribers. Let's try to get to 50,000 by the end of Bachelor in Paradise. Who knows if we can get there. But anyway, thank you guys so much for all the support, all the energy you guys give me. Plenty of content coming your way. We'll talk to you guys later. Bye now.